Hello friends. So this is our sixth day and we will be starting with futile. So we will have 10 words today starting with F and the first one is futile. Futile. Futile means something which is not going to produce any results. For example, suppose you are going to make a presentation to your boss and you are more or less convinced that he will not be convinced. He will not be agreeing to your proposal. In that case, you can say, my efforts are going to be futile. Similarly, accident victim is brought to the hospital and the doctors try to revive him, but they fail and he passes away. So, you could say the efforts to revive him proved to be futile. That is, no productive results. So, in other senses, suppose you are a retired fellow, you could describe your years after retirement as futile in a certain sense. You are not being particularly productive. In that sense, your post-retirement years may be futile. In general, if doing something is going to be pointless, you can say it would be futile. Suppose you are going to gym every day and at the same time you are gorging on chocolates also, then your going to gym is futile. You are not going to lose any weight. What else? A patient who is on life support system and the doctors after say a month or so decide that he is unlikely to come back to senses, then they may say that to sustain his life would be futile. So then they can remove the life support system. So futile is something which does not give any productive results, which may be pointless. So that's it. And the noun is futility. You could say the futility of it all. And similarly, a futile search for something. Okay? So that finishes our first word. Our second word is frugal. Frugal means simple, not costing you much. A frugal meal will be simple chawal, dal, roti. It wouldn't cost you much. Most of the Indians have frugal meals anyway. So, you could say frugal is the absence of extravagance. You spend only as much as is required, as is bare necessary. Absence of luxury. And to live frugally, it may not be exactly because you want to save money. You may live frugally as a matter of principle because you want to live simply. You don't want to expend money on luxurious things. So a frugal way of life, it does not have a negative connotation. Like somebody is miser who would not like to spend money even for something that may be necessary. This is not the case with frugal. Frugal means you want to make a good use of resources. You hate wasting money or wasting resources. That is frugal. Living frugally and living a frugal way of life absence of luxuriousness, absence of luxury. Our third word is frenetic. Frenetic means lot of activities with energy and a sense of urgency, but unorganized, uncontrolled. For example, you look frenetically for your keys if you have to go somewhere very urgently and you cannot find your keys. Then you will be looking for your keys frenetically. Similarly, if you are at a platform and the train is to arrive at, say, a certain platform, platform number 5, you are at 5 waiting for the train, and then suddenly when the train is just about to come, the announcer says it will actually come at number 3. Then all the people who are at that particular platform will rush to platform number 3, and the activity there will be, you can describe that activity as frenetic. So this is not frenetic, frenetic. So the stress is on the second syllable. Frenetic is a lot of activities with a sense of urgency but uncontrolled, unorganized. There is another word, frantic. Frantic is almost same as frenetic. Then the next word is fractious. Somebody who is fractious gets easily annoyed and easily irritated, prone to picking a fight. That fellow will be called fractious. I'm not sure it has got anything to do with fraction. Fractious is even your pet, your dog may be fractious if it is not, amenable to your control. If you find it difficult to control it or difficult to tame it, then you can describe your pet as fractious. Even machinery, some parts of it, you find it difficult to control, then you can say these fractious components of the system. So a fractious fellow will have few friends, as you can imagine, and he will be invited to very few parties because he is fractious. He will pick a fight, kind of troublemaker. So that goes for your, somebody's personality and their pet's personality and the behavior of the system that they have. They could all be fractious. A debate on the TV could also be fractious. Most of the debates that you watch on TV, they are fractious because people are not paying enough attention to each other, one another, and they have no respect for each other, and they shout and they do all kinds of, use all kinds of filthy epithets for each other. That is a fractious debate. And a relationship may be fractious. Just the same, if the people in the relationship don't respect each other and they easily pick a fight or they are not tolerating anything. They get annoyed at very small things. Then it will be called a fractious relationship. A family may be fractious. And in a federation, a state may be fractious. When it constantly fighting with the center, then you could term it as a fractious state. And the next word is flippant. Flippant means a non-serious attitude. For example, somebody is scolding their son for failing their exams, and the son says, it happens, then he is being flippant. He is giving a non-serious reply to a very serious thing. So in the circumstances when you are non-serious, when the situation calls for you to be serious, then you are being flippant. So flippant means you are almost rude or disrespectful. So if you are, say, in a hospital, ICU or somewhere, then it would be flippant on your part to have a hearty laugh with your friend, because the situation demands you to be serious there. And if somebody is discussing something very serious to them with you, and you adopt a non-serious tone, a flippant tone, they may just detect it and you would be in for some trouble. So flippancy, the noun is flippancy, flippant is adjective, and basically it means you are non-serious when you need to be serious. Then we have flagrant, Flagrant. Flagrant means something bad and which is easily noticed. For example, a flagrant violation of law, a flagrant violation of rules. And if the government passes a bill which is in clear violation of the constitutional provisions, then you could say the bill was passed in flagrant violation of the constitution. So if somebody is doing something bad and they are being flagrant about it, if it's flagrant, that means they are being careless about it. Careless, or you could say they don't care whether they are actually breaking some rule or whether they are going against the acceptable norms and whether they are going to hurt anybody's feelings. Then it's a flagrant violation or flagrant breaking of the rules. So flagrant is easily noticeable, something bad. Then we have fictitious. Fictitious means something imaginary, not real. So the characters in a novel, they are all fictitious because they are the product of the imagination of the author. That is one thing. Somebody who is trying to deceive or somebody who is trying to commit a fraud will not give his own name. He will give you a fictitious name, a fictitious address. So these two kind of fictitious things are there. First, an imagination as in a novel, and secondly, somebody going to commit a fraud. Now, if you if you have heard of Malgudi Days by R.K. Narayan, Malgudi was a fictitious town somewhere in South India. So South India is a real thing, but Malgudi itself was a fictitious thing. You could not go to South India and find Malgudi anywhere. So Malgudi was a fictitious thing. The character Swami there, he was also a fictitious thing. Now, if you go and write something bad about a fictional character, can they sue you through the creator? If you write something very bad or very derogatory about Swami, for example, who was the main character in my early days, could you be sued in the court of law for defamation? That is the question. Okay. Then next is fiasco. Fiasco is bad end to something through human failure. For example, if you invite your friends to a party and just when they are about to come, your cook fails to turn up, then it would be a fiasco. Something for you to feel embarrassed about. If it happens due to some accident or natural disaster or something, it will not be a fiasco. When we say fiasco, the human element is there. It must be a human failure. What could be the other examples of fiasco? If you are, if you don't sing well and you are forced to sing at some party or at some family gathering, it is likely to be a fiasco, isn't it? But the saving grace is, since it was a fiasco, you will not probably be bothered for the thing in future. So that is saving grace. And the last is fester, Fester. A festering wound or cut is something which gets infected. So it produces pus and it gives off a foul smell. That is called festering. The wound festers. Similarly, if you are angry with somebody or upset with somebody and you don't give expression to your feelings, then it would fester inside you and it might just explode someday. So, like the festering wound, your festering emotions will also be, very harmful to you. You should not keep emotions in a festering state. You should do something about them. So, a wound may be festering, a resentment may be festering, and a school toilet which is not cleaned regularly and which is giving off bad smell will also be called festering. A festering school toilet. So, with that, we come to the end, and I would just like to state that the the best way to learn new words is to discuss them. You discuss the words with your friends or in your own mind, you go through the words. Simply memorizing the Hindi equivalent of the words will not do. It will escape your mind sooner or later. Because everything that, some action that is a concept, and you have got a Hindi word for it, for example, that's well settled in your mind. And if you are just finding a word in place of that, so to represent that concept, now there will be two words, one Hindi, one English. And that will be confusing when you start speaking English, because there are two concepts and you cannot use the Hindi concept, Hindi word. That is the reason people are not fluent in English as they are in their mother tongue, because the words in the mother tongue, when they are speaking English, the words in the mother tongue will always be making struggling to come to your mind instead of the English word. So you should never learn a word by translation. For example, the word fester, a festering wound. What would be its Hindi? Whatever it is. First, it will be difficult to find its Hindi equivalent. And if you find that, then it will be more productive for you if you remember what does the word actually fester mean. So instead of the translation, you should concentrate on the concept. And you should try to associate the English word with that concept. Because the Hindi word, the same or something else, it is not. It is never going to go away. When you are speaking Hindi, that word will come naturally to you. But to become fluent in English, you need to, try to give the English word an active place in your brain. So that when you start speaking English, that word will jump to, your mind. That is what I think is the way to go about it. So, friend, thanks. Thanks for your presence, and we shall meet tomorrow again. Bye.